Nene is pissed at EJ. Ricky's parents are getting a divorce, but Ricky and Nene almost kissed. Stay tuned.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What's up, everybody? How are you guys feeling today?
Hey, we lit. We out here. We're out here. I think it's officially time. I was just talking to Josh in the back about how much I love the theme song for our special segment and just how much I'm pumped for this show. I'm ready to get into it.
Well, let me tell the people who you are first. Mr. Team EJ, Mr. Jeff Williams.
Yes, Team EJ. EJ all day.
On the island
what I
by
like
himself.
to say. Yes. Hey, no, I'm not.
Over
First
that
off, hey.
Corner.
First off, let me appreciate some of my guys in the comments because we are riding strong with Team EJ. Don't.
Let me rephrase that. You're on the island by yourself on this panel. In the chat and everywhere else, but on the panel, however.
But this
Right
island
over
is
here.
thriving.
Okay.
We're thriving. I want y'all to know
Girl
that.
power.
And speaking of girl power, Miss 411 of all things Disney, Chae Jones.
Hey guys, I'm so excited to get into today's episode because I need to talk about this island over here.
Yeah. And of course, there can't be girl power without me. That's Laura Love. But what were your overall thoughts on this episode, Jeff?
I really like this episode. Not for my guy EJ, but I like this as a whole. I honestly thought this was a really deep episode.
Yes.
It covered a lot of deep topics, and I thought they handled it well. I thought there was even like some subliminal messaging through like T-shirts and stuff that like resonates so much for especially a Disney Channel show. So I loved it there. Music was always good. I love the new song by Nene. There was just so many great moments in this episode, so I can't wait to break it down.
All right, Miss Chae, what were your thoughts?
I loved it. I loved Miss Jen's, I can't wait to get into the quotes she said because those were seriously my favorite part of this episode.
Yeah.
That and Natalie's sparkly hamster.
And stay tuned. Like Jeff said, we are going to have our special segment, Wildcat Corner, and we have some pretty cool music, so make sure to stay tuned for that and some cool news. But I thought this episode was pretty cool. It definitely gave us a little bit of everything, but I feel like now we're definitely getting a little bit more into the plot, into more of these relationships, and more into finally Ricky and his family dynamic. And also with Nene, we saw that with her mom and everything, so I thought it was really cool. By far, one of my favorite episodes. Well, obviously, we're still pretty, new into the season, but so far, I think this was definitely one of the good ones, and I feel like this season's going to get even better as we progress. But let's start with the relationship. So I'm going to give it to you, Mr. Jeff Williams. What were your thoughts on Nene being all pissed at EJ and pretty much calling him out in front of everyone?
It was rightfully so because what I've said about EJ since the first episode is that he needs to work on himself. He needs to kind of step back and see what he's doing because he's in the wrong. Right. And I was happy to see that Nene is telling him that. I'm like, dog, back up. I need to work on me. You need to work on you. Yeah. This is not working. You can't just steal my phone. And he's still worried about Ricky. This ain't about Ricky. This is about me and you. And the thing is, you're bringing up Ricky. You're bringing Ricky into this. So that was it's not good.
Do you feel like it's a part of his big ego that he has?
It's part of his insecurity. The ego is the forefront. That's just because that's another cover for the insecurity. You're not bringing up Ricky if there's no insecurity in your relationship and with you.
Interesting. Good point. What about you, Chae? There was some things that EJ did bring up, that he pretty much got one of the girls sick during camp to give her the lead role. What were your thoughts on that big reveal?
Okay, so the pause was for a reason, guys. I can't get over it. I'm okay, there's one thing to be supportive. There's another thing almost to be psychotic, maniac in a way, in your support of me.
Right.
That is almost, not stalkerish territory, but in the ways how stalkers are obsessed over a certain thing for a certain reason to get to a certain result. He has that almost same, not mentality, just intensity about it when it comes to Nene in this relationship. Why, you made me think that I got this myself. It was a divine intervention, but it was because you inflicted it, and I would never know if I would have got that part on my own.
Yeah.
And I think for her, that's what it's about. It's not about the fact that you did it. It's the fact that you say you believe in me, but you don't let me get the chance to rise to the occasion without any interference.
Yeah, it's like he's pretty much giving her these things in order for her to feel better about herself. And we see throughout like these past couple episodes that she kept referring back to that role that she had over the summer, and how she was super proud of herself and that she finally got the lead role, to now her thinking about it, well, I never really got it. I got it because EJ got the girl sick, and I was pretty much the person who had to step up and do it. So it really, this episode I felt for Nene because it's like everything was taken away from her because from what EJ was revealing. But I think one of the biggest things that I got from that conversation was when Nene said, "Summer is over."
That was perfect line.
Yes.
All I'm saying is, yes, it was bad on the face, but let's be realistic about it. He was doing it in support of her.
Okay.
Everything he's done, bad, horrible, it's been misguided love towards her.
Right.
He's been vocal about how much he cares about her. He's so paranoid, that's why he gets in the phone. He wants to see her succeed, that's why he ruins the other girl and makes her sick. He's very misguided, that's why I say he needs to focus on him. But this is all positive things for her. It's not like he's being malicious for no reason. So he's not a bad guy. He's just naive, I guess.
I mean, to back you up in what you said, Jeff, one of the things that was also one of the people that was backing up EJ was his cousin Ashlyn, and she pretty much said as well, he has good intentions, but does the wrong things. So when Ashlyn said that, do you not feel for EJ at all?
I feel for him as a person. I feel like, you know how we say some people come into your life to get you ready for another person, another opportunity, to teach you a lesson about your life. I feel like Nene is the catalyst, but not the end game, if that makes any sense. Like, she's the person that's going to help him maybe become a better person without being in a relationship. But this is a catalyst to get you to be that better person on your own and into a new relationship where you understand how love is supposed to work.
Right. The thing is, Jeff, I want to talk about this with you. Not talk about you. But yeah. This relationship has only been going on for 2 months. Mm-hmm. So when Nene said summer is over, it's pretty much that's when the relationship was growing. Yep. And now it's slowly falling apart. Do you feel like they can recover from this?
Not if he doesn't change. I mean, EJ needs to get out of his own head, needs to stop hurting himself and just listen to her. Mm-hmm. Let her do what she needs to do and let her grow by herself with her own willpower. You can always be there and support her. Yeah. But if he doesn't change, they don't need to be together. And I don't want them to be together. As much as I'm Team EJ, and shout out Logan Knight, that's also Team EJ in the chat. But as much as I'm Team EJ, I don't want that for Nene if EJ's not all the way there.
All right.
I mean, okay, so it's been 2 months, and I'm granted we are in high school, so feelings are definitely more hyper and very stronger in high school because we're teenagers. Like, everything is very intense for us. However, again, if this is how you show love, I don't need it in my life because this is not a good, healthy love. This is almost a toxic, malicious, in a sense, type of love that she doesn't need to be a part of. And he, like you said, he needs to work on himself. Mm-hmm. And I'm not really that much against EJ. I mean, I'm still Team Ricky, however. I will say this. EJ, if you want Nene back, stop making the same bad decision. Mm-hmm. Like, first, when you said, Gina, you're a sophomore, that was wrong. But, yeah, just, be on your own side.
We'll get to that.
However, don't go working with her because you think it's going to do something. Right. She has her own agenda, and she's proven it constantly. Yeah. She will do what can work for her, and this is where she needs it to be.
All right. Well, speaking of one of the things that you said, was that it's not healthy for her if this is technically a toxic relationship. So my question is, this is just with Ricky and their history. What happens when that's over? Let's say Ricky is over it and wants to just work on himself and figure out his own situation with his family. What if another guy tries to step in? Is EJ going to do the same thing, or is he really going to change?
Yeah, I mean, right now he's going to do the same thing because he keeps digging. He keeps digging himself a hole. He's joining with Gina. He's digging himself even a bigger hole. Mm-hmm. Like, he's not going to stop digging that hole until he stops acting the same way. Yeah. So it doesn't matter who it is, what problem, what person, he's going to act in the same way until he changes.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm kind of stuck in the middle. I felt for EJ in this episode because, yes, I felt like he was a little lost. Yes, he really loves Nene and he wants to prove that to her, but at the same time, his intentions are not good. So it's like, all right, I feel for you in the sense that you really want to do something good, but you're not doing anything good. But then I felt for Ricky because Ricky's going through a lot, and at the end of the day, seeing that connection that happened in this episode, it was like, okay, it's meant to be. I'm like, I don't know who to choose now because they both are going through a lot. But let's talk about Ricky and his home situation. We obviously finally see that Ricky's mom comes home, and they announced that they're getting a divorce.
Legally separated.
Yeah. Technically a divorce. So
until I see the word divorce, I'm just going to say legally separated.
Okay. Legally separated.
Look, I'm probably say divorce in my spiel.
I mean, because at the end of the day, that's where it's going towards.
Yeah.
But Jeff, were you surprised when you saw Ricky's mom?
I was just happy that it happened because
Really?
we kind of talked about it so much. I wanted the conflict to be there.
You're right.
And I love the conflict. I love how his dad wasn't prepared mentally, which the 2 hours, you should have been thought about this. But yeah, he wasn't prepared, so it was kind of that awkwardness. And I love how Ricky kind of just said what he needed to say and left it. Because at the end of the day, you guys are grown adults. Y'all shouldn't be in here acting full like, oh, well, this is awkward. Y'all should have planned how you're going to approach your son.
Right.
So I love how awkward it was because it should have been awkward. And I love the storyline, and I hope to see more of it.
For sure. What about you, Chae? What do you think about this whole scenario?
For me, it's the dad. I feel like the dad wanted to try to fight for the marriage, but the wife was just done. And I think that's why it was awkward for him. He was like, I thought I had 2 more hours to prepare myself. Like, I married you. I expected forever. I really didn't expect us to be here and for you to move to New York Chicago and just leave.
Yeah. And I think that expectation was also given to Ricky because Ricky kept saying over and over again, I thought my parents were going to be together. Like, I'm scared because that's technically as a child when you grow up in a home where your parents are always together, they're married and everything like that. That's what you grow up to see. So it makes sense why, if things are falling apart, he is scared, doesn't know what to do, and runs off. Because I felt like in this episode, Ricky definitely demonstrated what a teenager would do, which is pretty much avoid the whole situation and deal with it on his own.
Yeah, hopefully, it'll...
That was so realistic.
Yeah.
Literally him bouncing from house to house to, trying to find someone to connect to.
Right.
And, trying to find his, safe spot. It seemed so realistic, and I loved how he did that and bounced and had different storylines and then finally came home.
Well, let's talk about the first location that he went to. He obviously went to rehearsal, which he was late. So, and I think the funny part about this rehearsal was that everyone was kind of off. Obviously, we saw that Nene and EJ were not performing the best.
I've never heard such a bad rendition of what I've been looking for in my life. And then Nene just came for the riffs.
I know.
She was just like, I'm just going to hit some riffs so you understand I'm really not trying to hear you today.
But I know, Chae, you love Miss Jenn. Talk about Miss Jenn a little bit in this rehearsal.
No, Miss Jenn was everything in this rehearsal. I mean, I get her trying to have a very constructive rehearsal, and she doesn't understand what's going on. Obviously, no one's telling her what's happening. EJ and Nene are saying we're not broken up just yet, but something's happening, obviously. And then she said, I want to feel the heart and love between you. And she's like, were you not getting that?
Yeah.
And she's like, I want you to get there without cracking his ribs.
I
was like, that was the best line of the night.
I know. One of my favorite moments also was Big Red, your favorite character. I know, Jeff.
Yep. My God.
So how'd you feel about when you obviously saw him all confused, not knowing pretty much stage directions or anything like that? He was just lost.
And I loved him, and I like I said, he's my guy, but I want more. I feel like he's just a comic relief, even with his kind of his what?
The sleep apnea.
Yeah, I'm like, even with that and the kind of him talking to Ricky a little bit about it.
Yeah.
It wasn't enough for me. I feel like I still need more from him. I love the funny parts. He can kill that, but he's such a more he can have a bigger role in this story, and I need to see that.
Are you surprised to see him actually still in the rehearsals and everything? Because, I mean, at the beginning, he really wasn't for this whole musical thing.
I think now it's just him being there for Ricky. He's staying for Ricky.
Mm-hmm. So
he didn't expect to do anything, but he's there for Ricky.
Right. And speaking of being there for Ricky, obviously Ricky does not want to be home. He's late to the rehearsal. Miss Jenn goes off on him, and we kind of see an intimate moment between Miss Jenn, but then obviously it turns. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, I wanted to see a little bit more of Miss Jenn and that, being that teacher, that kind of motivates the student and really helps them out. But we obviously didn't see that. That's technically, or I don't think that's her role in this as a teacher, maybe as a drama teacher. But one of the things that we did see was him going to Big Red's house and trying to sleep there. So were you surprised to see that he was avoiding his house and didn't want to go?
No, that would have been me all day.
Really?
I would have avoided my house for a while. Just because, like, you need time to process, too.
Right.
It's not just about your parents processing what's going on in their lives. As a kid, you have to process it. Even though my parents told me it has nothing to do with me, it's not my fault, I got to really take a deep breath to figure out what I'm going to do with the information.
Yeah. And he obviously didn't last at Big Red's house, obviously, because of the sleeping machine, the noises, and everything. But I want to talk to you, Jeff, about this moment at Nini's house.
Yes. Look, my opinion has not changed. But before I go into that, I just want to say one thing about Miss Jenn.
Okay.
I agree with you. I wish it would have went longer.
Yeah.
But the fact that we have this conversation with Nene and Ricky makes sense that it didn't go longer, because like he would have kind of been resolved if he had a longer conversation with Miss Jenn and kind of found that kind of common ground and been okay to go home. It kind of left on an empty point, so he still needed to talk to more people. That's why I felt like it kind of made sense. But that, I mean, I agree with you. I wanted more.
Well,
Miss Jenn.
not just that. Like in high school, there's some instances where students go to their teachers and you feel comfortable with teachers to express what's going on at home. So I would have liked that reality of her stepping in and really helping him out, because that's technically what a teacher is supposed to do, especially in high school when this is a serious issue.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I wanted a little bit more.
I 100% agree. But to get back on this with EJ and Nene, no, Ricky and Nene. Sorry, I was thinking of the correct relationship. Sorry.
The wrong relationship.
So we're gonna talk about the wrong relationship.
No. Oh yeah, EJ. Okay, cool.
So like I said, Ricky and Nene. When I loved how he got in there and how she didn't know anything about it, and how not to jump too far, the second part of her song was about Ricky.
Yes.
If you remember the first part, it was about EJ. It seemed like the second part was more about Ricky. But I loved how it was like, what is he doing here? Like, why'd you say okay? And she had no clue. The mom was like, look, he had a worse day than you. So I loved that dynamic. Once they got into the like the root to everything, it was cool to see that she was there for him. I didn't like that they almost kissed, for the simple fact that I think they both need to grow by themselves.
I agree.
Because them like being together is not going to really help either one of them. It's
Right.
definitely not going to help her like find her confidence in herself, and it's not going to help him like try to figure out who he actually is and what's going on with his family.
Yeah.
Yes, she's there. It'd be great for her to be there as a great friend, as someone to talk to, because he trusts her and everything, but not a relationship, not right now.
I agree. I definitely agree with your point. I think they do have to. Ricky needs to focus on resolving his issues with his parents. Nene needs to focus on herself, especially after the song. It kind of showed, don't focus on love right now. Focus on yourself. But Chae, if you were Nene's mom, would you have let Ricky in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you have to take into account what they went through. However, I do know what he's going through at home. So even though you're in a in-between place with my daughter, I'm still a mom.
Yeah.
I still want you to be safe.
Right.
And you can be safe here, even only for a couple hours and one night. So I would have did it. And plus that SLC pride shirt was everything.
Yep.
Wearing it
that.
proudly, and I loved it.
No, that little moment was seriously one of the best moments as well.
I thought that was super dope, and it was like one of the things I talked about at the start. It was like something they didn't even need to talk about.
Yeah.
It was just there, and it spoke volumes. So I was like, that was dope.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, Disney Channel's always pushing the boundaries with this show, and I love to see that.
Yeah,
all
same here.
type of inclusion.
But for those of you in the chat, definitely let us know what you thought about this big moment, because it obviously was a huge moment. This kiss, or almost kiss, because it didn't happen.
Well, I want to shout out somebody in the chat. We have Ellen Hainwright. They've got codependency issues. They need to learn to work without each other.
And yeah.
And then External Shockwave says they're going to get together, maybe come the finale.
Oh.
Ivan is Team Rini. He doesn't want friendship. He wants romance. And yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, I know we left EJ, but I want to shout something out that Arun said that I didn't think about, but when he said it, it makes so much sense in the comment. He said EJ's love is more of an obsessive compulsiveness for EJ feels for Nene. And I was like, whoa, dude. I didn't even think of it that way. But when you think of it in those terms, it fits more.
Yeah, that's true. I
thought that was interesting. I was like,
I think not to an extreme, but a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, I have to agree with that. And also, I've been reading a lot of comments of you guys saying that you've missed our live streaming of this. So make sure that you subscribe to AfterBuzz TV, this channel, because this is where we're gonna be from now on every Tuesday at 8 p.m. So make sure that you are here to chat with us live. I know you guys have been saying that they couldn't find us, so we are here. So don't forget to join us every Tuesday and give us a like, comment. We see you guys. We're shouting you out, so thank you so much. But let's move forward. We see Ricky going back home. Mm-hmm. So we kind of see that intimate moment with his mom. Chae, did you like that? Pretty much Ricky was sort of building his relationship back with his mom in that moment.
I felt like him going back home was just like what needed to happen, because you can only avoid things for so long. Right. And I think this is his way of getting the actual chance to say goodbye in his own way when he needs it. But also understand that your mom's still your mom. Even if she is in Chicago, you don't really lose her. She's just going to be in a different state. Of course. And I feel like that's something he's come to terms with slowly. And, like, then he played, you know, what I've been looking for. I know. Juicy Lee in the ears. And I was just like,
well, not just that. I think the big question when he asked was, like, how long are you staying? And when she was like, a week at least, that's when I felt that relief from him at least, saying, like, okay, I at least have a week to enjoy my mom before she leaves. But, yes, I think you're right in the sense that at the end of the day, that's his mom. So, Jeff, what were your overall thoughts on, like, this scene and pretty much Ricky enjoying his mom for the time that he has left?
I thought it was necessary, like you guys said. I don't automatically think that he's come to terms with it yet, or just like okay with like her being there in that situation. I think it's like he needed to go home, and he's like, I need to at least know how long I have with her. Right. And so like I said, it was necessary. But other than that, it didn't do too much for me. It was realistic. Yeah. Like the whole like I said earlier, him leaving, going to try to find outlets, which were his friends, which were rehearsal, and then eventually coming back. It was realistic, and I love that they kept to realism.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you.
I love the pictures of, like, just his mom and him that she was packing up. I thought that was like, it was just a nice sentimental moment, but also just really hit home. Like, you had good moments. I know it's bad right now, but if you can get to the good part, it might make the transition for you a little bit better.
Yeah. Like, this will pass. It's pretty much like a transition for everyone. Not only him, but his mom. And for his dad, I feel like throughout these episodes, we've seen his dad suffer because of this. Because, like you said, Chae, he's been wanting to fight for it. So I think it's definitely a transition. But, of course, in this episode, we cannot miss Gina. She's there. And she's still working it. She's trying to get her way and helping out EJ, but at first it didn't work. So what were your thoughts, Jeff, when pretty much EJ rejected her offer on still helping him?
I think it was good. It kind of teased me as an EJ fan of like, no, I'm going to start turning a new leaf. Yeah. I'm going to do something good, like a smart EJ would do. But no, I mean, it's just frustrating that he keeps going back into the circle. And with Gina in particular, like, she's just as caught up as he is. Yeah. And but thing is, she is smart about it. Because she knows that he's as caught up, but she's controlling the situation. Right. So I'm excited to see how much she can control that situation, and if something's going to change and maybe she can't control it.
Yeah, for sure. Chae, when you saw that Gina saw this poster, did you think that was her idea of EJ taking her to the homecoming dance?
Yeah. I mean, why else? Well, you don't need a picture. And I also feel like it's a two-part thing. If she's seen with EJ, she gets more credibility in the school. Right. Maybe she can prove that, hey, I'm the new Nene, homecoming king and queen. That's the stepping stone to, like, let me be the ruler, tete-a-tete of East High. When he leaves, I'll be like the legacy left behind in a way. Interesting. That's what I got from it. Oh yeah, I think she thinks way more ahead. Yeah, like, she's way more.
So she's smart about it, like Jeff said. Oh yeah, for sure. We see that because she has a strategy. Everything that she says, her plan is a strategy. It's not just like EJ kind of just goes by like instinct in a way, but not in a good way. It's just like, oh, I'm just gonna try this. I'm just gonna do this, like. But it doesn't end up working out. But Gina has a plan, and she really thinks about the end result. He doesn't. So it's definitely interesting to see because they ended it on her or EJ going to Gina's house and pretty much saying, okay, I'll take you to the homecoming dance. So are you guys looking forward to that?
I don't even know what's about to happen. But, I mean, I want to shout out Courtney in this episode.
Oh, yes.
Her opening, and she just like the keep, donate, must throw in fire box. I was here for the box. I legit wanted to actually go into that box, figure out what was going in the fire.
Right.
I feel totally different about Courtney right now.
Really?
Unfortunately, I don't want to go too far on a tangent, but I'm not like I'm mad at her. I'm disappointed.
Why?
And I hope that because she's so strong, she's so like
and
strong.
with the Tanya
Yes,
thing?
with the Tanya thing, I was very upset that she was just kind of falling back because she's a senior. She's like, oh, Tanya's, whatever her name was, is kind of taking over, taking over the
Tanya
costume and everything. And I'm like, so I'm gonna just go in my place because I'm a sophomore. I'm like, nah, you've been so like ready to jump on anybody. Like, come on, stay strong, stay you. Don't fall back because of senior. I hope this is just a storyline to make her be to find
Like
inner
rebellious?
strength. Or just find inner strength in herself to like stand up to Tanya or whatever. But right now, I was disappointed in hearing that.
Yeah.
It was so funny. Have you ever dealt with Nene's then when you just got a relationship and it seems like everybody is just in a relationship and they're just making out in front of you and you just want to just bring
Like,
hellfire,
shut up.
stop kissing in front of me. You guys are a very cute couple, but why?
Yeah.
You don't know him?
Right.
I thought that was so realistic.
Yes.
Like you just got a relationship.
Well, not even just in high school, but just in general.
General.
Now, like, I was in there, like, last year. Like, oh, why? Why is everyone in a relationship right now?
But Courtney knows her friend because she got up. She was like, don't say a word.
Well,
keep it to yourself.
And speaking of Nene, let's talk about Nene a little bit more. We do see her before this whole Ricky situation writing this new song. Chae, I know you are all about the song. So what did you think about this one and pretty much her expressing herself and everything that's been going on in this new song?
I felt the song was very truthful to where she is, and then you have two guys, but shouldn't you be enough? We keep saying like when you're in a relationship, you have to also love yourself before you can be in a relationship, because if you don't know who you are,
right,
and if you don't have enough self-respect or love for yourself, how can you ever expect somebody else to give it to you?
Yeah.
So in the sense of that, the song's spot on, because I mean, come on, all girls, all we want is a good guy.
Yeah.
Like seriously, all we want is a good guy who is faithful. I'm gonna say again, faithful. Even though, girl, depending on like how fluid you are in your life,
you also need a guy that loves you back equally,
without going EJ on you,
but equally that actually says they're going equally. Just saying.
Yeah, and exclusive rights to the relationship. I mean, there's just a lot of things that women and men both want in a relationship.
Yeah.
We all want to be loved, and I think that's the bigger thing. Everybody wants to be loved. That seriously is it. That is the factor. That is the denominator that ties us all together. We all want to be loved.
And one of the things that hurt me, though, in this song in particular, was that she was questioning herself. Am I not enough? And my expectations are too high? And it's like, no, I need you to, like, build up your confidence. You are enough. This has nothing to do with you. Ricky has his family problems. That's why he couldn't say I love you to you. But you don't know that. EJ, it's his issues, insecurities, like you said. So how did you feel, Jeff, when you heard her pretty much saying these things about herself?
It was upsetting to see that she doesn't have the confidence in herself, but we kind of already know that.
Yeah.
I'm hoping this is like the launching pad to like self-discovery in a sense and self-growth, because in the first half she said something along the lines of perfect on paper.
Yeah.
And perfect on paper, and that's her realizing that AJ, great. He checks all the boxes, but yet he's not really perfect.
Right.
So it was great that she's coming to the realization of that. And then in the second part, she comes in realization that Ricky can't really be accounted for right at this moment. Like, he's a wild card because of everything going on with his family.
Exactly.
So, like, she's at least coming to the realization of she can't count on anybody except herself. So hopefully she grows from this.
Right. And I think in the preview of next episode, we do see her stepping up and kind of, you know what, it's my time now. It's girl time. So we have a lot to look forward to in the next episode. But this was pretty much it for this week.
I mean, especially the cast change.
Yeah.
Quote unquote, Gina said. I was like, what you talking about? A cash change around here.
When you said that, at first I was like, wait, what? And then I thought about it, I was like, for homecoming, you had it. And then it made sense. And I was like,
because Mr. Mazar's like, you're not Nene. She's like, there's been a cash change.
I
that little
that.
smirk and smile. I'm like, oh, she devious.
But now let's get into our Wildcat Corner.
Uh-oh.
There it is.
What up?
Wait.
Oh, my headphones almost falling off. We too hype over here.
I know. Okay, so guys, if you're just joining us for our first ever Wildcat Corner, I can't wait. I'm trying to be serious. So if you're joining us for the first time for the Wildcat Corner, this is how it works. We're gonna be shouting out our MVP, somebody that rocked our world this episode, from just our favorite quote or person. It doesn't matter, because this show is amazing and we have to show love.
Yes.
So we're gonna start with Jeff. He thought I was gonna go there.
So I'm gonna go with Nene. We talked about it throughout the whole episode. I loved her in this episode because she kind of stood up for herself from the jump. She told EJ, "Summer's over." She kind of stood her ground against Ricky and the emotions that she was facing. So I love that she's kind of growing through her song. And like I said, I just want to see more of it. So I loved her in this episode, and I can't wait to see more.
Okay,
cool. And for me, it was Nene as well, but actually someone else was actually Ricky, because in this episode, he was very vulnerable. He was finally letting everything out, even if it was just with Nene. Like, I'm scared, and you can literally feel that for him. So I gotta go with Ricky. He's progressing, for sure.
For me, it's Miss Jen's on quotes, but it's Ricky overall, because, like you said, it was the vulnerability of it. There's nothing seriously sexier or better than watching a man be vulnerable.
Yeah.
That is
he's still a kid, technically.
He can't, but you know, guys know, everybody knows what I mean. Like, watching a boy, man, or whatever be vulnerable, you don't see that. And I love the fact that, like, Disney is also touching on that, like, trying to break toxic masculinity. It's okay to be vulnerable and tear up.
Right.
It's okay, and that's fine.
Jeff, are you a vulnerable guy?
So if I start crying, like, I'm gonna get more numbers and stuff. Is that what I'm saying? So like,
depends on the female, okay?
Look, ladies out there watching.
Oh Lord.
Hold on, let me get my eyes.
Oh my God.
I'm just listening to y'all.
Well,
I guess.
I need a second opinion for this. And for this, I'm going to go to Mr. Josh in the booth, our producer. Are you a vulnerable guy? Is this better?
I mean, listen, there's nothing wrong being vulnerable, but at the same time, you don't want to let people in too much, you know what I mean? So if you want to get to know somebody, or you're trying to get to know somebody, you got to show a little bit inch by inch, anything like that. But as far as just being straight up vulnerable, not yet.
So a balance. That's what we're looking for. Yeah. A balance. So a balance.
Is
definitely.
good.
Balance is key.
Balance is very key. And it's, I think, also a staple for the show, like balance for how you have a good rehearsal. It's going to get you to the end of the line. Everything has to be balanced, and life is the same way.
Agree. I definitely agree. Now, on to that point. Let's go to our news.
Ooh.
Mr. Jeff, give it up.
Every time I hear it, I always start typing. But this week we don't have news; we have the gossip side. Since we saw in the trailer that Carlos goes up to Seb and kind of brings up homecoming. We don't know for sure because obviously we haven't seen the episode that we think he's gonna ask him to homecoming. And we're not only the ones that are excited. All the fans are excited. They're literally tweeting about it. They're saying everything, and they're loving it. This guy gave him a ship name that said Seb Blows.
Interesting.
And we talked about this right before the show got on, and I want to hear what you guys think about the nickname Seb Blows.
I mean, it's cute. I think it's cute, the fact that we have another, like, gay couple, and I like the fact that we're going to see a little bit more of Carlos. I love Carlos.
I know Carlos is really going to shine in the homecoming episode. I like the ship name. I think it's adorable. I love ship names just in general. When they're good, and I think this is a really great one. So that's just me.
That makes one of us, because I am not sold on Seb Blows. I want to hear in the chat what you guys think about the nickname.
Which one would you?
I'm going with CB. And there's
like Chris Brown?
No, I know, but
like what? I'm trying to figure out how that
and
works.
Just to C from Carlos, to B from Seb Blows, or Seb.
It's Seb.
But the thing is,
would it be CS?
I understand that, but like CS doesn't sound tight.
Neither does CB. I feel like I've been talking on trucker radio. Breaker.
Look, at the end of the day,
Breaker.
CB rolls off the tongue. But no, I love that we're gonna get more of Carlos. I love that we're gonna actually explore that, because I always bring back Andy Mack because that's where I've known Sophia Wiley from. But like, they kind of touched on this topic by having the first openly gay character on Disney Channel. Yes. Now they're actually extending this by having him venture out. Well, we don't know that. Let me not put any judge or say anything before they actually say it. But like, we might actually get into that relationship and explore that on Disney. So that'd be cool.
I agree with you, but I want to know what the people think about CB, Mr. CB.
Team CB all day.
Please say something about that name. I just feel like I'm like, yeah, sir, I'm just going down to the diner. It's been a long 18 hours.
Oh my God, look at how cute Seblos is. Who in the world is a Seblos? What is a Seblos?
I like that.
Is there multiple Seblos?
Seblos actually sounds pretty sick. That sounds like a really...
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Seblos sounds
so
like
tight.
a sick rapper's name or like a sick graffiti artist's name. It's just Seblos.
True. But does that sound like a ship name?
No, but
yes.
The thing is, like, when
thank you. CB is just a no from Ivan in the chat. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, look, Ivan, you're a no because CB, CB all day.
Okay.
Logan Knight.
He is very passionate. If you did not understand, okay. Even
Sorry,
Jazzy
Ivan,
saying,
don't take him seriously.
Even Jazzy Jones is saying not a CB.
Hey.
It could be, but it's same thing. Pronounce Seb, like legit. If you just pronounce Seb's name, you could just say like their name, like a one thing. If it's pronounced CEB, I mean it's spelled CEB.
Oh, okay, got it. Interesting.
Or what about Cab? You go CA for Carlos and then B for Sep. Cab. That's pretty sick.
I'm gonna catch a cab. I'm gonna open a cabinet name.
I think we're gonna have to come up with some new ideas.
They might just need to come up with a name that has nothing to do with their first name.
Even Ellen says, "See, everybody in chat saying no to you, sir."
Look, Seblo is clutter.
It's cuter.
Oh,
see, you're
I'm like over here trying to make his words change just to be on my side. God. Logan, I thought we were here.
No.
I guess not. CB. I'm gonna wait for the comments.
I'm gonna give you
because
some
the live
homework.
chat is not on my team.
I'm gonna give you some homework. Please come up with a new name for next
Either way,
week.
that is a gossip. I can't wait to see how they explore it and if they explore it next episode and going forward.
For sure. Now let's go.
Well,
after all that, now let's go ahead and go into our predictions because that leads us into our predictions.
Ooh.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Oh my god.
I love it.
Go ahead.
Sorry. They're in the chat. They're laughing at my quote. I'm gonna catch a cat.
That was a good one.
I didn't even try for that one. That was funny. But predictions. You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I predict that it's gonna be an interesting girls' night. A girls' night that had good intentions is gonna go very, very wrong somehow.
Right.
Especially now that Miss Jenn has got her. She wanted to include herself. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I do hope they come out stronger to the other side of that. Gina is gonna try to, in a way, sway EJ to her way of thinking. Like if they get together, maybe Nene's gonna want him more because now Gina has something that Nene had, and now she's gonna want it back.
Wait, let me ask you this: do you think it's gonna happen?
What?
Where Nene's gonna want him? Like, is the plan gonna work?
I don't think so.
No.
You blocked them. Like you don't just block somebody for no reason.
Right. Cool.
See,
Go ahead, Jeff.
I got a couple of them. So I got Nene. I think someone already said in the chat, but I think Nene is gonna stay single to the finale. I think this is like, I think this is where she grows. I love the dynamic between her and Ricky. I think it actually will be Ricky, even though I don't think that's right. I think it will be. That's how the show's going. Writers are wrong. It's fine.
Wow.
But like I said,
I hope you're not watching writers. Just I'm gonna turn my head to the side. I'm not with them.
Hey. Exactly. No, but either way, I think Nene will be single to the finale. I think this is where she kind of grows. I think Gina will actually start having feelings for EJ during this time that they're in homecoming, and I think that's the part where I said she's not going to be able to control that because she's controlled everything so far. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic. And also, I think Big Red and Ashlyn are going to be going to the dance together and start having a relationship.
Oh,
Okay.
cool. I definitely think that I have to agree with you. I think Gina is gonna start feeling something for EJ, but I do predict that they're probably gonna kiss at the homecoming dance.
Yeah, somebody in the chat actually mentioned that too. That they predict that.
Yeah,
so I
for
would,
sure. So shout out to the person in the chat because I definitely agree that that's gonna happen. And I predict that Rick is gonna go to the homecoming dance looking for Nene, but she's not gonna be there. I don't think she's gonna end up showing up, so their plan's not gonna work.
Yeah.
So,
but it could be a happy accident for Gina and EJ.
yeah, true.
I will say that. And also, before we go, even your man Logan Knight in the chat said, "Yo, Jeff, you my boy, but Seblo is better."
I know. It's fine. I feel you.
I couldn't get out of here without doing that because Logan Knight is a big Team EJ with me. Like, he is completely Team EJ. However,
me and Logan go way back to like episode 1, so like we're good. So me and him are tight.
4 weeks ago.
It's fine. We can get in our little arguments about Seb and CB, whatever.
Okay.
Oh, we're done.
Anyways, on that note, we are done. Jeff, go ahead and tell people where they can find you and they can argue with you.
Look, if y'all want some more arguments on anything High School Musical or anything else, I'm all here. I'm with all the smoke. You guys can follow me at Jeff Will Jr. on all your social media platforms.
You guys can follow me at Real Chae Jones on Twitter and Instagram, on the Christmas AfterBuzz TV 24 Hours Network. I have a Disney All the Way Christmas, and we did the 26th anniversary of The Nightmare Before Christmas. Check it out because is it a Halloween or a Christmas movie? Let us know in the comments.
And tonight we are having the season finale part 1 of Total Divas, so make sure you follow me literally right after this to talk about that. And you can find me on all social media at Leslie Colon _ and we will see you next week. Bye.
And we might have a guest.
Ooh. That should have been part of the gossip.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.